Good morning, afternoon, or evening, everyone. Hello, my name is Mark. I'm a consultant here at Passerelle. Today, for you, I have a discussion and a demo. We'll be talking about the Oregon Super Bank, and this will be a fictional narrative about a fictional small to mid sized bank, but it's based on some non fictional experiences that we've had with our clients over the years. We'll be talking about the bank's analytics platform, where it was and where it is now after teaming with Passerelle, and there will be a quick tech demo showing what the data rocket and dynamic ingestion can look like in Snowflake, and we'll conclude with a presentation of a market share analysis that we developed, showing the bank exactly where prospects are for them. And this is a really neat analysis powered in part by the data marketplace in Snowflake and Equifax data. So the bank believes that data-driven decisions and digital marketing capabilities are going to be important to growing its business because fintech and automated lending platforms have been a new and unique competitor to them. And so its objectives with its analytics tools would be to support digital transformation, digital marketing, and get insights on how to grow business and market share. Specifically, the first analysis that they're looking for is to understand their position in the regional home loan market. So the bank already has a data warehouse from their core banking system, but it has its limitations. So the bank decided to team up with Passerelle and implement the data rocket. And if you'd like to get in touch with Passerelle, please check us out at passerelledata.com or connect with Bruce and we'll get the conversation started. So the data rocket is an end-to-end architecture that modernizes the data infrastructure, and it puts the industry best data technology in the hands of businesses of any size. And we unlock things like data ingestion, data mastering, third-party data, ML and AI applications, and it's powered by a proven stack of Talend, Snowflake, and we do data viz in software like Power BI or Tableau. So in this analysis, we're going to need components of data from the core banking system that you can see in the bottom left there. And then we're going to need components from the third-party data share. We're going to get everything into Snowflake where we're going to do the transformation and we're going to do the blending. And then we'll bring that into Tableau for the visualization. So what do we need for this regional market share? We're going to need some sort of location identifier. In this case, let's use zip code, and we're going to need measures like counts of loans and loan amounts, and we'll need ways to segment those loans based on like the loan type or the segmentation. And data is going to be needed for both the bank's share and the total addressable market. So the bank share part is easy. They have the core banking system, and we can, we've plugged into that with the data rocket, brought it into Snowflake. So that part is easy. What isn't so easy and is kind of fun to think about the challenges of what this looked like before Equifax is getting the total addressable market. And so maybe what you might have done before this is maybe you would have taken census data, made some interpolations about wealth centers there. Maybe you would have done some customer surveys and hoped that you would get some customers with some of your competitors to answer some questions about themselves, or you would have relationship managers to interview customers and get the results and then put it into a CRM. And then once it's there, again, you'd be making a lot of interpolations and getting really variable results. With Equifax, you really get a standard product. It's scientific and reliable. And so this product that I'm talking about from Equifax is called the Credit Trends. And this is a suite of anonymous data, so it's at the zip code level, and it's credit data specifically attributed for trending market analysis and benchmarking. There are a lot of use cases for this. There's a lot of target audiences for this database, but we're going to be focused on this green one up here. We're going to be looking to directly measure the market. And of course, we're not the first folks to use this. There's a lot of success stories around this data set, but it's hard to leave out that the Federal Reserve Bank, has published research based on Equifax's data. So this really is an important data set. And we're going to get this data through a Snowflake share. So Snowflake data sharing is a very important feature of Snowflake. And it makes data live and ready to query with no ETL pipelines to manage, and it gets you access to the most current data available. And so the data marketplace is where data providers make their data available to customers. And there are actually several ways you can share data. So you can do it through the marketplace, you can do direct share. And I love this, reader accounts. You can share data with companies not yet on Snowflake. I just think that's really cool. So we understand where the data is, we understand how we're going to get it. Let's take a dive in and see what it actually looks like. So we're in Snowflake right now. You can see that I'm logged in as the Superbank admin, and we have access to 4 databases here. Let's take a look at the metadata database, because this is the database that's driving the configuration for the data rocket using Talend to dynamically ingest several data objects. And this is the configuration table, but I got to tell you, this is part of our secret sauce. So this is really distilled down to a couple of core features, but it's more or less as easy to configure. So we have 2 source systems here. We have the core banking system and the FTP, and then we have 2 tables coming from the data warehouse at the core banking system, and then we have a file name for territory coming from the FTP. And so now that we've configured that and the data rocket is running, that data is going to land in this staging database, and we have persistent and transient schemas for each system. And in the persistent data, for instance, for the FTP persistent, we can see this very simple territory dim, which is just a postal code to a territory name. And in the core banking, we can take a look at the accounts dim here. And we can see on the account level, that's where we're going to get the postal code that's going to be important. And in the loan fact, we can see that this is where we can get information on the loan, the loan origination date, because we're going to pick loans from a certain time window. And then all of the different loan types and loan amounts in here are in here as well. So using all 3 of these sources, we're going to relate this to the Equifax data credit trends. So if we look at what this looks like here, if we look at what the table looks like here, the table is going to be the mailing zip, the count of first lien mortgages. And so this count is limited to the second half of year 2020. So that's where that origination date from the loan fact is going to come in. So we're going to have to pare it down to a specific time window here. And so we can see that the count of first lien mortgages, we have the average balance, and then we have some other segmentations of first lien mortgages greater than 500K. And then we also have one where the credit score was greater than 700 at the time of the application. And then we also have count of home equity line of credit. And so we have all of the data in here now, and in the data warehouse is where we're going to do all of our transformation. We have several views here, one which just relates the accounts to the loans, the loans in the loan fact. We have another one which is the aggregation of that data on the bank's level, and then we have another view here where that data is then combined with the Equifax data. And if we look at this one, we can see that the data is not so analytics friendly in that we get like the database names. So it's all capitals, it's all underscores. And so in our analytics schema here, we have the loan market share, which is in friendly case. And all of the data in here is going to have friendly names ready for reporting purposes. And so if we jump into Tableau, which is where we've connected this database to, we can look at all of the clusters here. We can look at all zip codes for all of these different clusters from the territory. And what we're looking at here is we're looking at the aggregates based on liens and HELOCs, again, for the second half of 2020. And the postal code color here is attributed by the volume of market activity for each segment. So we have different sections here for the first lien, and then different cuts for the first lien, which for this cut, this would be understanding what types of credit scores we're getting for these first liens, and then what types of value these first liens are worth. And then this is just all of them, and then we have HELOCs down here. So up here, though, we see the aggregate market share for these different segments. And all clusters combined, our first lien is at 11%, and our home equity line of credit business is at 37%, and that's really very strong. So let's just go through here and see if any of these different clusters are different from this average. So East Portland seems to have a stronger than average. Hillsborough is right around average. Salem is at 6%, and West Portland is at 11%. So for me, what sticks out is that Salem is 5% lower in terms of its market share across all of the clusters combined. And when I look at Salem, there's really some interesting things here. Salem has a lot of first liens in it. So if we hover over the zip code, we can get information about the market share and then the actual counts that that calculate that. So we can see in 97304, there was 900 first liens in that 6-month period, and the Superbank only got 29 of them. And we can also see the average original balance of these first liens. So this right here, I think that this is a powerful insight that Salem is actually a hot market, and the Superbank is not involved in it as much as it could be. And there are some other hot zip codes. I mean, another 900 count of first liens. We have almost 500 in this one. So that is a powerful insight that the Superbank's visibility, digitally or on the ground in this area might need some attention. On the other side, the HELOC, when we look at the HELOC product, on average, 37% across all of the geographies, that's really strong. So in terms of the bank, if you have the opportunity to present your narrative and your story to new customers, you may not need to be focused on the home equity line of credit products so much as you may want to talk about first liens and see if there are ways to connect with customers that are taking out their first mortgage for their first home purchase. So I think this concludes the demo. I hope you found this interesting, and if you have any questions at all, please go and visit us on our website at passerelldata.com. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your day.